a matter of continuing to learn to stay rooted in ourselves in the presence of another person.
Yeah.
Because most of us, perhaps women more, I'm not sure, have been trained to be codependent and give our power over to another person, to bring our consciousness immediately up to our heads. So these are long-term trainings to have our consciousness not stay with ourselves in our bodies. So just doing an exercise for just practicing it for an hour in an afternoon, we're not going to yet develop the experience and the facility and the ability to stay in our bodies. This is a taste so that we might be able to be in the presence of another person and not come up to our heads. Okay, thanks for those awarenesses. Those are great. Isn't that beautiful? And we forget, don't we? Yeah, you said like a reminder. All right, and we do have to remind ourselves. We're in an environment that doesn't necessarily support that remembrance. So to remind ourselves, I feel when I'm connected with myself, it's easier to connect with other people. Thank you. Most people we date are not going to end up being the love of our life. But we can still have these beautiful sensual experiences together, just like most of you are not going to be each other's love for the rest of your life. You never know. There's people who've met in here. You still can share this beautiful sensual experience and turn yourself more into a lover, which the conventional world is trying to turn you into not loving other people. I don't like you because I don't like your shoes. Right? No, can you believe he's wearing those shoes? She doesn't look like a fashion model, okay? Most dating is very unloving. We're trying to find love by being unloving. What if we are loving like this on dates? We never see each other again, but we shared a beautiful sensual experience. We were in our bodies. We practiced tasting. Maybe not smelling so much, although we can share that I love this smell of this coffee, I love this smell of this, we're on this hike, these beautiful trees. I love seeing this vista. I remember one time I saw this beautiful sunset, whatever. I love the sound of those birds. I was telling Greg the other day that I've always remembered this. I was a literature major in college. Anybody else an English major? Nobody? Yeah, okay. Do you remember Samuel Coleridge? He's a poet that nobody reads anymore. It's from the 17th century. Anyway, he described hell as a birdless place. And I always remember that because when I hear birds singing, I know I'm not in hell. It's always a reminder, those birds. And you think about how beautiful that is, that in hell there is no birds. It's a lovely image. Anyway, so we can practice these just for our own enjoyment, becoming a more sensual being, and then bringing this to find someone whose body delights in the same thing our body delights in, because that's who we're going to want to make love with for hours. That's who we're going to want to lay next to, sit on the couch and cuddle, be in the same space. I've been married to someone I actually, in retrospect, didn't really like being in the same space. But everything lined up on paper. I think there's some people nodding in here because you remember a relationship like that. Okay? So what we want to find is tantrically approach life for the pleasures of life, and how can we share this? How can I practice in my own self, practicing my own pleasure of my experience in life, and how can then I bring that to the meeting of other people, whether we're ever going to have sex or not, whether we're going to ever be in love or not. Let's be in love in this moment. Let's just be in love in this moment. Doesn't kill anybody. Let's just be in love. Say goodbye when it's over or not, but we just experience this sensual love together. Exactly. Whether the bodies actually feel attracted to each other, or if it's just the eyes and the checklist that seems like a good person to sleep with, right? Whereas in Tantra, all of this is lovemaking. Sitting at the coffee and breathing together is part of lovemaking that may or may not lead to sex. But we're getting our energy starting to be comfortable with each other to see if we want to lead there instead of 0 to 60.